Hey everyone, today's episode is me talking to me just as much as I'm talking to you. I am giving this advice to you, but I am listening to it myself. I'm trying to live up to the expectations I'm creating for you guys here in the Saturday Morning Hustle. So we're going to do this together. I recently put a social media post out that got a ton of great interaction and feedback. And so now I'm going to read that social media post to you, and then we're going to go deeper, much more expanded explanation about what I meant and what it means to all of us who need to ask for help, and to ask for help sooner than we probably traditionally would do. This is for you as much as it is for me. It's Saturday. I'm in the office. You know what that means. This Saturday Morning Hustle podcast. No hyperbolic hustle culture, just brutally honest, straightforward business advice every Saturday with a little motivation for entrepreneurs, business owners, and anyone pursuing success. Can't just work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and hope to become the next big thing. You got to work smart, work hard, and put in extra effort while everyone else is sleeping in, playing games, or just wasting time. Maximize bonus time and get more work done. This podcast is for anyone willing to come in early, stay late, and hustle on the weekends to be great. And that's you, and that's me, and this advice is for both of us today about you can be a professional, you can be an achiever, you can be successful, you can be an entrepreneur, business owner, decision maker, high achiever, and you still need help. And you still have as many ups, you have downs, and you're going to have situations and scenarios and periods where you need a lot of help, maybe even a tremendous amount of help. And if you don't get it when you need it, your business could fail, your job could be in jeopardy. Whatever it is you're trying to achieve could become unobtainable if you're too stubborn to reach out for that help soon enough. You can't wait until the house is on fire to get help, to get insurance. You can't wait until you're 6 feet underwater to get swimming lessons. So I'm going to read you this social media post, and then we're going to come back and break it down line by line and go deeper into the conversation of what each of these lines mean, what it means for you, what it means for me, and how we can all benefit from it. So here is the social media post. And I appreciate everyone who has interacted with this post online. I put it on LinkedIn, I put it on Twitter, I put it on Facebook, and was looking for the kind of interaction I got, some feedback, some thought process, and getting people to think about this for themselves. So here's the original post that we'll break down. Friends who own businesses, please ask for help. Don't wait until it's too late. Running a business is tough, even for the smartest and most experienced professionals. Ask for your support system to buy, refer, or collaborate. Let people help, or at the very least, offer advice when things start to get tough, not when you're already completely out of options. This has happened to good friends recently who could have been saved if they had only asked for help sooner. So there you have, there's the post. So right off the bat, let's go right back to the beginning and break this down line by line. Friends who own businesses. You know who I'm talking to. And anyone listening to this podcast, I'm going to consider a friend. And anyone listening to this podcast who owns a business, is an entrepreneur, but also is just a business leader, is in a leadership position and a decision-making position, leading other people, maybe even running a nonprofit or being a member of a volunteer group or a side hustle you have, whatever it is that you're working on, you're trying to achieve. In this case, you're the business owner. Simply stated, friends who own businesses, ask for help. Trust me, I understand. I own my own business. I know how hard it is. I work with small businesses every single day. I work with entrepreneurs every single day. I work with leaders and decision makers every day, and I do understand how hard it is. It's hard in this particular moment because of the economy, because of all kinds of business factors, because of competition, because of changes in technology. A few years ago, it was COVID. Before that, it was the competitive landscape. There's always going to be something that makes business hard. Running a successful business, being successful in anything is hard. But you don't have to make it harder by refusing to ask for help. Again, I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you guys on this one. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. Asking for help is smart, it's intelligent, and it's fruitful. Now, you can't create a successful business. You can't be successful at something by simply starting off begging for help and hoping everyone else does the work for you. You've got to put your sweat equity in. You have to earn your way to a position of saying, I have done as much as I can, possibly all I can myself. I've invested my time, I've invested my money, I've invested my focus and effort. I have suffered the risk, and I've gotten to a certain point. And maybe it's a lull or a specific period, or maybe the business is heading in the wrong direction, whatever it is, when you need help. It's okay to ask for help when you have done the work, when you've put the effort in, when you've made the sacrifice, when you have put your part in. Asking others to meet you halfway is completely viable. You can't start off by asking everyone for help, but you can ask for people for help along the way. And sometimes it's temporary, sometimes it is something that needs to be permanently changed in order to change the trajectory of what you're trying to achieve. So the second line, don't wait until it's too late. This is the thing about help, especially advice or changing things in business when it comes to your processes, your systems, how you sell, how you develop your product, all of the things that go into what actually make a business happen and work and be successful is a continual process. You're never really finished. It's always ongoing. If things are going well and you're doing things in good ways and you're making small adjustments and just fixing the things that are lesser appealing and sticking with things that are working. When you need help, it's the opposite. More things are not working than are, and it's really hard to figure out what can make it work. That's where you need to ask for help. Is if you don't have the experience, if you don't have the knowledge, if you don't have a network, whatever it is, in order to understand the problem so that you can adjust the problem so that you can move forward in a different, better way, which then would be more successful than what's happening in order for you to need help. But it has to be timely. There are periods, there are depth that you get into that's too deep. That's too far. You've wasted too much money. You've lost assets. You've lost ground. You've lost best employees. You have stretched out relationships too much where it can't be fixed. Typically, this is running out of money. When investors call this runway, and you run out of runway. When your plane comes in the runway, if you're not in the air, you're going to crash. And it's the same thing in business. If you can't get launched, if you can't get high enough, if you can't elevate your business at a certain point, you run out of budget and you run out of options and you run out of time and you crash the plane. Now, remember, budget can be money, but there's a multitude of things that could be budgeted. It's your team, your TEAM, time, effort, attention, then money. If you put your time, attention, effort, and money budget into what you're doing and you do not achieve returns, you do not achieve profit, you do not receive ROI, then you're going to have a problem. And then you're on that runway that eventually will run out. So don't wait too late. Do not wait until you see the end of the runway to ask for help. As soon as you understand you're moving towards the end of the runway without anything necessary to help you, without things moving in the right direction, without the right breaks, without the right relationships, without things starting to work for you, when you understand it's not working is when you ask for help, not when you are at the end of the runway, because it is too late. Help, infusion of money, helping, finding audience, all those things take time. And they take time to take hold in your business, and they take time to work. So even a cash infusion doesn't fix things overnight. It's a Band-Aid and it's temporary. So do not wait. The earlier you ask for help, the earlier you look for advice, the earlier you try to make things better, the earlier you have an opportunity to be successful and the likelihood of getting off that runway in time goes up. So do not wait. Now, third line, running a business is tough, even for the smartest and most experienced professionals. Now, one of the things I run into in my business life as a consultant and as working with business owners and top level executives is sometimes they feel a challenge to their system or a challenge to why are you running your business in this way? And maybe you should be changing your business in certain ways. Some business leaders, not good business leaders, but struggling business leaders, find any challenge to what they're doing currently that's not working as an insult, as a direct reference to their intelligence or their ability to be successful, which is absolutely not true. My iPad just fell. I'm sure you guys heard that. The camera is rocking. We had a big old accident here, but we're going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep having the conversation with you. I'm going to have to pick it up in a second so I can keep reading the quote. But I want to finish this thought before I lose it. So, taking help, taking advice, asking for advice, collaborating with others, sharing information, especially about things that aren't going as well or things that are taking you down the wrong path, sharing that information and saying, I don't know how to fix this, does not mean you are not a smart person, does not mean you're not an intelligent person, does not mean you can't learn how to do it and be successful in the future, does not make you any less of a business leader. In fact, asking and then receiving help, taking advice from others, being open to the idea that your way is not the only way to be successful is a sign of intelligence and leadership and the ability to be successful for you and for everyone else in the business, everyone who benefits as customers, as employees, as vendors, etc. Everyone is depending on you as the business leader to make this work so that what their part can work. And you can help them. You cannot let them down by doing what's necessary, even if it's not what you thought it was going to be, even if it wasn't your idea. So a good business leader asks for help, takes advice, and collaborates in order for a successful outcome. Poor, unsuccessful, and eventually will fail business leaders hold everything internal and somehow think doing the same thing that's not been winning, that's not being successful, somehow can turn around. Change is necessary. The management of change is how you become successful. You've heard me say that on this podcast many times before. You can't change if you don't take outside advice, if you don't take help from others, if you don't ask and receive, if you don't change your approach when it's failing, you will continue to fail till you hit the end of the runway. If you want to be successful, you have to be open to change, and being open to change means asking for help and then implementing the advice, the support, the budget items, etc., so that you can make the changes necessary to be successful. Now I'm going to reach down and pick up my iPad and continue reading this quote, and hopefully not pull the microphone down with me as I do it. This is sort of like working on live TV, except it's a podcast, because I didn't want to edit this podcast. I could have edited all that out, but I feel like it's more interesting when I left it in. What do you guys think? We'll talk about that later. Ask your support system to buy, refer, collaborate. Now, this is something I'm very guilty of, and a lot of business owners are guilty of. We feel like if we tell people to support our business, to buy our products, to utilize our service, to pay us for what we do, when we're asking our friends and family members to do that, it feels very self-promotional. It feels very taking advantage of our personal relationships. But if we're not willing to ask our friends and family to spend their money on our product or service, then how are we going to ask anyone else to? So you have to flip around that thought process and ask people who are closest to you if they can. Now, if you're B2B, maybe we can't take it. Like my business is B2B, so there are a lot of people in my life who cannot take advantage of what I'm doing, but I can ask for referrals. We can ask people to recommend to other people they know in their lives. You tell a friend and they tell a friend and they tell a friend. That actually works in the world. But you have to start closest to you. You have to start with friends and family, the people that are most trusted to you. And if they can't buy, they can refer, or they can collaborate. Maybe they can offer you some advice. Maybe they could tell you, I would buy, but the price is prohibitive, or it's not built for me, or there's something I don't understand about it. There's information that comes from that. So talk to the people in your life. The go-to response for entrepreneurs, for business owners, for people who are running business, when we see people out in the world, hey, how's business? And we say, oh, yeah, it's great. Everything's wonderful, because we want people to see us as winners, as people who are achieving things, as people who are successful. We want to be thought of in that way. We don't want to be thought of as someone who needs to ask for help, because that's somehow seen as someone who's failing or doesn't know what they're doing. It goes back to the idea of insulting your intelligence, etc. But we just reference to the fact that asking for help is what smart business leaders do. It's what leadership is. So don't be afraid to ask for help through collaboration, through input, through referrals, or simply buying. If you make a product or service that the whole world can use, tell everyone you know you should be buying this too, and you should be telling your friends. Do not be shy about doing it. Now, of course, you can be too promotional. You can become that person that people don't want to see walking down the street or see on Facebook, because you're going to just be strong-arming us to buy the thing that you make. So you can be too promotional, but don't be afraid to ever tell anyone that your business could utilize some support, could benefit from some help, and could do better. Whether it's directly buying the product or service, referring other people to you to generate new business, to offer advice, or be collaborative with you. Be open to those ideas. Let people help, or at least offer advice, when things start to get tough, not when you are completely out of options. So again, back to the runway illustration. If it's the end of the runway, it is too late. When you know you're not elevating the plane off the runway, when you know you're moving in the wrong direction, when you start to become frustrated with the lack of success, when things are moving in the wrong direction, and your gut will tell you that things aren't working. When you start feeling that way, start asking for help. Now, ask the people who are most likely to help you. If you need to get some information from someone like myself, from someone who's in banking, someone who's in insurance, someone who runs their own small business, someone who's in marketing, reach out to those people you know and start asking for that help. If you can get it from people that you trust, that you don't have to pay for it, that's fantastic. But if you need to pay for it, if you need a specific set of expertise, don't wait too long, because it doesn't matter how good that expert is. If you wait too long, they can't help you. If you get that advice early, if you get the input early, if you get the collaboration partner early enough to change the trajectory, to put some fuel in the plane and get it elevated before you hit the end of the runway, then you have a chance. Do not wait too late. That's why I made this point twice today. Timing is everything. And I think this is where, myself included, entrepreneurs fail, is we feel like our job is to find the answer. And so we're going to exhaust every option we have and every idea we have and every way we could do to come up with the answer before we go to ask anyone else for help or ask for their input. But the best business leaders are asking for input early and often. So stop delaying, thinking you have to be the one who fixes the problem. You have to be the one to solve the problem. You have to be the one who changes the trajectory and gets the business in the right direction. As long as the business gets on the right direction, who got you there, how you got there, will ultimately become irrelevant. And if the business doesn't change, if you crash at the end of the runway, if you go out of business, if you go bankrupt, if you have to let your team go, if you close the doors, there's no real well, at least I didn't have to ask for help. That's an unacceptable way of looking at it. Ask early, ask often, be open to the input. This has happened to good friends recently, and this is absolutely true. And if they're listening to this right now, because I know they listen to the podcast, I feel for you very much. I wish it hadn't happened to you. But I'm trying to use what I learned after watching other people's examples and apply it to myself so I don't follow the same path. They could have been saved if they'd only asked sooner. Again, the common theme we have today. The sooner you ask for help, the sooner you receive help, the sooner you get on the right path, the right trajectory, the more likelihood of you ultimately being successful. That is the sign of good leadership, good business sense, good ideas, smart people. Don't let your own head, your own bullshit, your own pride, your own ego, your own hubris, talking to myself as well as you, slow you down or stop you from asking for help, letting people know everything is not perfect, could be better, and you could benefit from sales, from referrals, from collaboration partners, from opportunities, some access, whatever it is you need. Ask for that help if you want to be truly successful. And if I can help you in any way, I want to be that person for you. That's why we're having this conversation today. I brought this topic up. We've talked for 20 minutes. I didn't even edit out the fact that the iPad fell off the stand because I'm being real with you and I'm here for you. So if I can help you, if I can offer advice, and if I can't, I'll tell you someone who can. So if you have a business, if you have an idea, if you're struggling in your career, whatever it is, if I can help you out, please reach out to me. Let me know exactly how I can help you out, and I will do my best for you. Appreciate you guys tuning into the podcast again each and every week, every Saturday in the office, hustling and grinding, trying to get a little bit extra done. And I appreciate you guys listening to the podcast once again this week. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave a comment, leave a review, share with a friend, DM me if you need advice for your business or something else that you're working on that you can't quite get over a hump and you need help with. I'm here to help you. Make sure you follow and engage on social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the Saturday Morning Hustle Facebook fan page. All the info, all the episodes, all the Saturday Morning Hustle, Entrepreneur AF, Coffee and Donuts, Work Smart, Work Hard, swag is at SaturdayMorningHustle.com. Go check that out. I just redesigned the website, made some updates. All of the past episodes are there, and the 24-part Balance series is there as well. The list of platforms for how you can find the podcast to listen to or watch on YouTube, all the links, all the swag, all the past episodes, all the information, everything is at SaturdayMorningHustle.com. See you next week. Thanks for listening. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave a comment, leave a review, share with a friend. We really appreciate that. Follow and engage on social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the Saturday Morning Hustle Facebook fan page. All the information, all the past episodes, all the Saturday Morning Hustle, Entrepreneur AF, and Coffee and Donuts swag is at SaturdayMorningHustle.com. See you next week.